When I went to school some 50 years back, my experience of school was only that somebody would come, open your head in the morning, pour in some contents of chemistry, then another guy will come and pour in some physics, and then you'd probably add some English to it, shake you up, and by the evening you were all confused as to what you learned. But what I've seen here, this body, is absolutely fascinating. I didn't know the education system, which I always wondered, are they doing the right things? I'm absolutely floored by what I've seen here at the school this morning, and it's great pleasure and honor to be here today. Well, 38 years in the Indian Army. It's a lifetime which every morning had a different challenge. Every morning, you learn something new. You realize that you are part of a bigger system, a part of a cause which we all reached out to. There's often a question which used to come to my mind as a child. I was born into an army family. My dad was also in the army. Unfortunately, both my sons decided to desert me and didn't join the army, right? But that notwithstanding, I always felt that why is it that I sat in the same class in school with somebody else who today is an entrepreneur, and I found somebody from my own school here this morning, right? I also realized that an army Jawan, he starts his journey from the same village which most of us grew up with. They went through the same system. They went through the same cause. They had the same concerns. Their parents back home, their children back home, their wives, the children who never saw their dad for their birthdays, for their Diwalis and their Holies. Then how is it that this man, when he came from the same stock, went from the same schools and learned the same lessons, how is it that he has grown up into a man who's willing to lay down his life? Motivation, we all do motivation in every organization. But how is it that a person gets motivated to lay down his life, to make the supreme sacrifice, to be able to know that when every morning when he gets up, when he goes out on a mission, when he steps out of his bunker or from his bed, he may not return home. The reason, as I grew up growing up in service and I analyzed and I understood, was that the Indian Army is not a job. It's not a profession. It's a way of life. It's a large family. As the principal said some time back, the school is one family, so are we a family. That soldier has been brought up in a manner that he knows that tomorrow when he does not get back home, his wife, his children are going to be taken care of, because they know that all of you, this nation stands behind them. So therefore, his focus then shifts on to the mission that he's given. He knows that somebody is going to take care of his wife. Somebody is going to take care of his parents who are old. They have the same problems which every parent has. Right? His children, he also is concerned that, will my child get admission in the school? Will he grow up to be a good human being? But then he knows that everybody stands behind him. And that's why the focus in the armed forces is to make a soldier feel part of that family, that large family which is going to take care of him, so that he can forget his concerns and move on to do the mission that he's been assigned. It's not a very simple job. I can't tell him in the morning, it's not important that whether he can run or he can climb a rope or not. What is more important is to change his mental mindset, to bring him on to make that supreme sacrifice which the nation wants him to do. The Indian Army works in hostile environments. Some of these images that you see in front of you are areas where the armed forces operate. We have the glaciers of Siachen, 21,000 feet above sea level. You have the dense jungles in the northeast. You have the deserts. These are not areas which scare the man. He is there when you have floods. He is there when you have the earthquake in Uttarkashi. He is there when any kind of natural calamities take place. He is there because he understands that there is a bigger cause for which this organization has been designed, and where we have achieved what standards and what the nation expected them to do. We need to focus on how we do these things. From the day he joins, he is exposed to stories of courage, valor, of the heroes which the SACE organization has produced. Every morning, it is ingrained in him as to how you can be like these people. Why have they achieved those glorious names? Every corridor in the armed forces, you'll have pictures of people who've laid down their lives for the country. Those are sources of inspiration. You also have instilled in them that you're part of a larger system. We have an organization in the Army, and one very important role that is played is by the Army wives. They are a very important facet in our organization. It's not all about glamour. It's not about being part of the system. It's not about good parties and with adding good whiskey being served in Army messes, right? These Army wives every morning are there to guide those families who are going to be staying behind when their husbands are going to be doing their tasks, so that they don't have to look back. The Army devised various systems. At the apex level, we made the Army Welfare Education Society, right? We set up schools all over the country. We have educational institutions all over the country, from colleges of management, hotel management, nursing, doctors, everything, for our own children, so that they know, the Jawan knew that, yes, I have somewhere where my children can be looked after. I don't have to worry about them. It's also important, I personally have been on the governing body of the Army Welfare Education Society, and we know that how much care is taken for all of them. And we have not only these soldiers to look after, but also what we term in the Army as the Veer Naris, those who did not return, their wives, their children. We have a very large community of disabled soldiers. It's amazing to see the number of, you won't even be able to imagine the number of people who face disability every year. Every day we bring back bodies. Every day we bring back disabled people who either lost their limbs or are unable to see because of various facets which they have to go through. So therefore, this system in this organization has ingrained into, we have tried to make sure that they are able to carry out their duties unhindered, and converted that rustic Jawan who came in from the same village that I did and grew up in the system to be able to lay down his life for the nation. to lay down his life for a cause. And let me also share with you, a lot of the soldiers are not interested in the nation as such. It's the unit that we forms part of. It is the small little organization that he takes pride in. And that organization which has built up a self-esteem for him. So to a soldier, self-esteem is very important. Now, what does the soldier expect from you? I don't know how many of you are familiar that about 2 years back, our Prime Minister, Mr. Modi, made out an appeal to the country to respect the soldier. And he narrated to them what he had seen in other countries. In the United States, even when you go to the airport, first boarding on the flight is that for a soldier. Special announcements are made that please, soldiers proceeding on the aircraft are allowed first boarding and first disembarking from the aircraft. And as this announcement is made, whichever channel they are going through, people rise and clap for them. That's what grateful a nation feels about their soldiers. So what I was trying to bring out is that the soldier needs his esteem to be concerned. I don't know how many of us are willing to step out of a line in a cinema if we recognize a soldier and say, okay, come, please move ahead of me. It's a message which I want to share with you, that for him, if somebody recognizes that he is a soldier and that he is doing something different, he's doing something different for all of us, it's a greater motivating factor than anything that he's been through.